How to identify if you are unequally yoked. There are three main areas that we're going to be exploring. The first one is there is a difference in spiritual maturity. When the woman gets in a relationship with a man who has not developed the spiritual leadership, it creates an unnecessary tension in deciding who to obey, God or man. And you want to safeguard yourself from this situation, this scenario. When this happens, there is the tendency for the woman to assert herself to be the head of the house and lead the family spiritually, when this was never in God's design. So now we're seeing a situation where things that were not to have been are, and then in a method of correcting or remedying the situation to offer that remedy, we see that a woman has just usurped the authority of her husband, which is in conflict with the natural design based on the biblical directing. So we are seeing where a wrong situation was tried to be corrected to a right situation, but also caused another wrong, and that there desecrates and creates an invalidity to the relationship and the union. And that we do not want for our women. So, you being in a relationship as a woman have to think long and hard to say to yourself, do you want to be the head of the household? First of all, should a woman even be the head of the household in accordance to the biblical narrative? No, the woman is not the head of the household. She is a manager of the home, yes, but she is not the head. The man is the president. The man is the leader of the household. So we have the leader being the man and the woman being the manager. So when the roles are flipped, we have the problems that the world has. So we have to be very careful not to allow the world to cause our relationships to have breaches. You're not being able to share with your husband your spiritual journey, uh, growth, development, and all those kind of things will create breaches in your relationship when there is a difference in spiritual maturity. So both of you need to be mature spiritually so that the relationship can function in unison, can function in synergy, and can function synchronously or synchronously. All right? So we have to be very mindful of that. So you can identify if you are unequally yoked by number one, there is a difference in spiritual maturity. In another instance, the woman's spiritual growth can even become stunned if the man is not spiritually mature. But the question is, why was she in that relationship in the first place? Is it because she allowed her carnal desires to overtake her natural judgment? Or spiritual eyes were closed? Now, let us move into number two. To know how and when you are in a position where you are unequally yoked. There is a difference in value. You have different values. You see it fitting to contribute to the church, but he does not see the point of that. He prefers or would prefer to spend that money on a new suit or raiment, or to go to the spa, or he may see a nice car that he desires, that sports car he desires for you to be driving. So your values are different. He doesn't think that contributing to the work of God is important, but you see it as being important. It could show its head in different ways, including but not limited to you valuing the church, you believing that the Bible is the final authority on which all major decisions should be made. However, they believe they can make the decision based on their assumption without any justification or biblical guidance. Even in prayer, you want to pray together and they have no interest in praying together. So we are seeing problems and challenges showing their head when the relationship is not adequately positioned. This is how you know that you are unequally yoked. When it comes on to children, the cultivation of them are different. They are cultivated in manners which conflict with your beliefs, your ideology. And there are some irreconcilable differences that exist between you and your partner. And that there means that something is wrong with your relationship. But we don't want you to have to go to that stage where things have gone so far that there is almost like you're at the stage of no return, that you realize that you're unequally yoked. Because sometimes the emotionally overwhelming of the euphoria that is exuded when you're in the phase of getting to know can cloud your better judgment. You can know that something is wrong for you, and yet you still desire it because you allow the emotions to manipulate your better judgment. You allow your emotion to take away that which was a blessing to you and now turn that blessing into a curse. You can also know that this situation of difference in value is evident when it comes on to morality. You believe in one thing, and then you are being positioned to compromise by tempting you and pressuring you to go contrary to your desires and spiritual leading. So these are situations which, when you see them showing their head, you know you're almost too late. You're already unequally yoked. Now, number 3, we're going to speaking about difference in purpose, because if you have difference in purpose, it means that there is disorder, there is a divide. Can two walk unless they agree? One may be totally devoted to walking exclusively with Christ. The other has a foot in the corporate world. Most people spend all their time giving of themselves to different vocations, to things that they find to be a blessing to them, or things that they have an inclination towards. So if the purpose is not in alignment, it means that something is wrong. And this can be seen when the woman is trying to lead the relationship. Because in order for the relationship to work, there has to be a party that is fully submitted, and that is usually the woman. So the woman has to be fully positioned in a submissive state to the man, so that the leading of the family can take place effortlessly. Time, passion, and energy are devoted to things that you have an inclination towards. Your purpose is seen based on where you spend your time, based on the things you are passionate about. In some cases, it creates that which we call a divide. So you can know if something is going wrong when you have no passion towards similar thing. And this divide can create division. And we have division, which mean die meaning two, and vision meaning direction. So you have two directions in one household, which is pulling the relationship apart. That there creates a state of separation. And when we have separation taking place in the relationship, we know that there is unequal yoking that is evident. When one has to give up their passion as a compromise, we will realize that there is normally a deep seated state of resentment that exists. Submission is not one of the easiest things to do, especially in this modern dispensation when the world is telling our women that they should do this and they should do that. The most difficult thing that you will have to do is to set the foundation right, to ensure that you are in a right footing, in a right positioning, so that you can enjoy the blessings that a marriage relationship has to offer. Your marriage should not make you weaker. Your marriage should make you stronger. Your marriage should not be a situation where there is great levels of resistance. Your marriage should be a situation where there is a great sense of compassion. There's a great sense of ease. There's a great sense of flow. There is a desire to enjoy and to bring glory to God. Your marriage should be a reflection of God's glory. The more difference you have going into a marriage relationship, the more strain it could possibly put on that relationship. So we have to be reasonable with ourselves to know that things may not always be as they appear to be. And these are just 3 reasons to not being unequally yoked. Number 1, if there is difference in spiritual maturity, you know that you're unequally yoked. If there is difference in value, you know you are unequally yoked. If there is difference in purpose, you know you are unequally yoked, and that there is a setup for division.